Singer Ian Watkins, who was jailed for child sex offences, has been killed in an attack in prison.
He was the frontman of one of Britain's biggest rock bands, a charismatic musician who lived like a star and was worshipped by millions of fans. But behind the fame and the music, Ian Watkins hid a monstrous secret. He was a convicted child abuser, found guilty of some of the most disturbing crimes ever committed by a public figure. The singer of Lostprophets used his celebrity to manipulate and exploit others in ways that shocked the world. In 2013, he was sentenced to nearly 3 decades in prison, and in October 2025, he was killed behind bars in a brutal attack by fellow inmates. This is the story of how a man who once ruled the stage became one of Britain's most hated criminals, and how his crimes destroyed everything and everyone around him. Ian Watkins was born in Merthyr Tydfil, Wales in 1977. From an early age, he was fascinated by music and performance. At university, he studied graphic design and met other musicians who shared his passion for rock and punk. Together, they formed a band that would soon become famous, Lostprophets. In 1997, Lostprophets started playing small gigs around Wales. Their style fit the post and nu metal era perfectly. Watkins quickly stood out for his looks, attitude, and stage presence. Their first album, The Fake Sound of Progress, came out in 2000 and earned them a record deal. Their 2004 album, Start Something, made them international stars. Hits like Last Train Home and Burn Burn filled stadiums and won awards. Watkins became the face of British alternative rock, charming, rebellious, and adored by fans around the world. But as the fame grew, so did his addiction to drugs and his obsession with control. Those close to him noticed how he changed, arrogant, erratic, and unpredictable. Behind closed doors, his behavior became darker and more disturbing. By the late 2000s, Lostprophets' success started to fade. Their final album, Weapons, was released in 2012. But by then, Watkins' private life was spiraling out of control. He was consumed by drugs, and his actions crossed moral and legal boundaries in horrifying ways. Then, in December 2012, came the arrest that shocked the entire world. Ian Watkins was charged with multiple counts of sexual offenses, including the abuse of children. The evidence police uncovered, messages, videos, and recordings, was so extreme that even experienced investigators were horrified. This became even more horrifying when investigators discovered that Watkins had planned to father a baby with one of his female accomplices in order to act on his fantasies. He even discussed giving the infant crystal meth to get it used to drugs, revealing the extreme depravity and meticulous planning behind his actions. What you're about to hear is a chilling first-hand account from one of Ian Watkins' former girlfriends. In this interview, she reveals the disturbing fantasies he shared with her, details so horrific, she says, that she immediately reported him to the police. Her testimony would later become a crucial part of the case that exposed Watkins not just as a fallen rock star, but as one of the most depraved sex offenders in British legal history.
And then he would just tell me about this super flirty 4-year-old, and how can she be super flirty? She's 4 years old. He began telling me about all the underage fans that he took the virginity of, and he was proud of it, and how he abused them, and how his favourite video that he had was of a 14-year-old schoolgirl stripping off and saying her name and date of birth to the camera just before he took her virginity, and just all the other vile things that you said he'd done to these fans. And that, I would say to him, stop talking. I don't want to hear it, just stop talking, it's upsetting me. He started saying that he wanted to get me pregnant just so that he could rape our daughter.
In November 2013, Watkins pleaded guilty to 13 charges, including attempted assault of a minor and possession of indecent images. The judge at Cardiff Crown Court called him a determined and committed pedophile who had used his fame to commit acts of unimaginable cruelty. Watkins was sentenced to 29 years in prison with an additional 6 years of extended supervision. His two female accomplices, both obsessed fans, were also given long prison terms. They had actively assisted Watkins in committing his crimes, including enabling him to abuse infants and facilitating his access to children. That same day, Lostprophets announced their breakup. The remaining band members said they were devastated, had no knowledge of Watkins' crimes, and would never be able to forgive him. For millions of fans, the band's music instantly became untouchable. While serving his sentence at Wakefield Prison, a facility known for housing some of Britain's most dangerous offenders, Watkins continued to attract controversy. Not only did he reportedly boast about his crimes and smuggle a phone into his cell, but he also used that phone to groom a teenage girl, attempting to initiate a sexual relationship from prison. These actions led to additional criminal charges in 2017, proving that even behind bars, he remained a danger to children. In 2023, he was attacked by other inmates and injured, but he survived. 2 years later, in October 2025, he was attacked again at HMP Wakefield in a violent assault that proved fatal. Police were called to the prison and pronounced him dead at the scene. Two fellow prisoners, aged 25 and 43, were arrested on suspicion of murder. Watkins was 48 years old. His death marked the end of one of the darkest stories in modern music history. A man who once stood on stage before thousands of fans died alone and despised, remembered not for his talent, but for his cruelty. The story of Ian Watkins is a grim reminder of how fame can hide evil, and how charisma and power can be used to manipulate and destroy. For the remaining members of Lostprophets, the years since have been about rebuilding. They formed a new band, No Devotion, determined to move forward and separate themselves from the nightmare their former singer created. But the legacy of Ian Watkins remains one of the darkest warnings in music history, that sometimes the brightest lights can hide the blackest hearts. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, because only then can we keep bringing you more true crime stories in the future. Thank you for watching,